Welcome to the update. Today, we're going to talk about good student attendance. Don't worry, nothing bad, but good attendance at school prepares students for life and success. And we'll talk to some folks in our schools who know. Stay tuned for more. The foundation of good daily attendance sets up students for many attributes necessary for success in school, work, and life. One common reason why people get fired from their jobs is poor attendance or tardiness. So the practice of good attendance begins early in a child's educational career. And in today's show, we're going to look at reasons why some kids have problems with good attendance, the impact that good and bad attendance can have, and ways to support students. We're going now to talk with some folks who deal with attendance issues on a daily basis. Dr. Revere, thanks for having me here today to talk a little bit about attendance.
You're welcome.
You know, attendance is vitally important to our high schoolers, especially. Why is that?
It is. Attendance is very important, of course, at all grade levels, but in high school specifically, we're on block scheduling. And students are in class for 90 minutes per block. So if they miss a day, they miss a lot of instruction.
Yeah.
Also,
that block, 90 minutes is 2 classes. So you're really missing 2 classes if you miss.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And our teachers work very hard to cover standards. And so they cover a lot of material in one block.
Yeah.
So when students are out and they have to come back and make up work, a lot of times they feel overwhelmed because they're working to complete all the assignments they missed and to learn the new material that's been presented.
Yeah, and it's also important when we look at things like Georgia milestones, end of course assessments, those sorts of things.
Yes, this time of year in particular, teachers are, they're preparing students all year.
Yeah.
But right now, we have just a couple of months before milestones take place. So we have our middle school and elementary school teachers who are preparing students for end of grade milestones, and our high school teachers who are preparing for end of course milestones.
Yeah, it's hard to believe. We're sitting here with 45 days, give or take, of school left, and that means about 30 days, really, until those milestones start.
That's right.
It is truly crunch time.
That's right, it is.
Here at CEC, you guys have developed a pretty unique approach to attendance and incentivizing that. Talk a little bit about that.
We do. We have a specific attendance policy for CC, and without going into all the details, to keep it simple, students can earn points when they have good attendance. They can earn points on their final grades, and if their attendance is poor, they end up losing points. But what we've seen over the years is that we have more students who gain points for good attendance.
Oh yeah, the vast majority, I think, gain points for good attendance.
The vast majority. And what it does is it helps them develop good habits, good healthy habits. So when they go into the workforce, they already have a pattern of attendance and they know the importance of showing up.
And you went right where I was about to go. That attendance policy here is something that was very intentionally designed in partnership with local business and industry for that very reason, right?
Exactly, because we partner with local industries and so we know what the needs are.
Yeah, yeah. And a student that develops the habit of good attendance now maintains the habit, hopefully, of good attendance in whatever career field or whatever job they go into.
Exactly. They're establishing it right now.
Yeah. If you had a message to send to parents about establishing that particular habit or about school attendance and the importance of it, what would it be?
I would encourage parents to send their children to school every day. I know that's not always possible. I'm a parent and I understand. But unless there is a very good reason for them to miss school, we want them here.
Yeah, and part of the reason we're doing this is, I think coming out of the pandemic, there's been a little bit of a mental shift related to attendance, so to speak, don't you think?
That's what I understand, yes.
Yeah, we need to make sure that everybody understands how vitally important it is for kids to be here every day, especially on a block system.
That's right.
Yeah. You know, when you miss school on a block schedule, it's really 2 days. Every day counts for 2. So it's just vitally important for students to be here. Dr. Veer, thank you for what you do for our students. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for inviting me today, and appreciate all you do.
You're welcome.
Shannon, thanks for inviting us out to Arbor to talk a little bit of attendance today.
Sure thing, sure thing.
Importance. We're in springtime, and here we are at Arbor Springs, and we're joined by Shannon Leslie, one of our social workers who's based here at Arbor, and then Carolyn Kilby, who is the district's truancy officer. Shannon, let's start with you. Talk just for a second about the importance of attendance. Why is it important for kids to be at school?
That's really huge. That's a big one. Coming from a school social worker, attendance is so critical to academic success with our students. And so if you're not at school, you can't learn. And we want our kids at school learning and thriving.
And we've seen a change, quite frankly, since COVID, since the pandemic, regarding attendance. What have you seen since then?
I have seen a couple of things that stick out in my head that I think are really huge. We're seeing homelessness. We are seeing kids dealing with mental health issues, specifically anxiety, that is stemming as it relates to them coming to school.
Yeah.
Those are some major things that I've seen as a school social worker, of lack of attendance.
And Carolyn, there's some other things that are barriers to attendance, transportation.
Yeah, missing a school bus, parents leaving early, and the child isn't getting up and getting on the bus like they're supposed to. The parents are really struggling with that. Also, not a normal nighttime routine for the child to get up and get ready for school, which causes tardinesses in the morning. Those are all definitely things that we see as a big problem when I speak with parents.
And parents just in survival mode, trying to figure out, how do I pay for rent, or are you keeping the utilities on? So it kind of becomes secondary because we're in survival mode. Or a kid that's been suspended, perhaps off the bus, but the parents have no other means of transportation. And we just try to work with parents where they are and building those relationships to try to help get our kids to school.
And Shannon, you just said something that I think is really important for everybody to know. We want our kids at school. That is the ultimate goal. We want them here, and we're here to support parents with whatever it takes to make that happen, right?
Absolutely.
How do we do that?
We do that through a number of ways. Oftentimes, we have to link our parents to community services to try to alleviate those barriers, because it does impact, the barriers does impact our children's attendance. So that may look like me meeting with a parent as a school social worker, building that relationship, because relationships and rapport are critical, and connecting that parent to a community contact that can assist with them not being evicted.
Yeah, I think it's important. We don't ever want Carolyn to be involved.
We
As
don't.
a truancy officer.
Yes.
There are a lot of things that we want to put in place before Carolyn does get involved. Unfortunately, though, sometimes you do have to get involved.
Right.
What does it look like from your standpoint once we get to a point where you're involved?
So basically, I reach out to the schools, the social workers, the counselors, sometimes the teachers, assistant principals, all school staff, and try to establish a meeting with that parent before I do take court action. And making sure that I let those parents know that I don't want to see them in court. Let's make this our last meeting, and then we can hopefully resolve that problem and continue to check on their attendance after that meeting. and just reassure them if they need extra services, we're here to help them.
And one thing that we do as a system, Dr. Horton, is we collaborate and consult a lot. School social workers with attendance officers, with the school community administration. And so we make every effort, from phone calls to letters, to parent conferences, to emails, to try to bring our parents in and get our students to school before.
That's right.
I want to exhaust all interventions.
Yes.
We want to exhaust all interventions.
Yes.
And quite frankly, even though we love Carolyn, we want to put Carolyn out of business. If
I would
we
love
do,
that.
that means that kids are at school and they're learning.
Absolutely.
And I think one thing that's important for parents to hear from me, from us, no reason to be fearful. You know,
Absolutely.
life happens.
Absolutely.
You know, we're here to support, and we're here to provide whatever we can to ensure that the student can be successful, and maybe take some of that burden off of the parent that's having other things that they're having to deal with.
Absolutely. I think oftentimes as a school social worker, I reiterate to parents that I am a resource for you.
Yep.
We want your kids here.
Yep. And if they're successful, we're
Absolutely.
successful.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you guys for what you do in support of our students. Again, it's great to be here with you today and learn a little bit more about what you do. For parents out there, I think one of the things I want you to take away is we are here to serve and support you. We're all here to serve and support your students. Anything we can do in that endeavor, we certainly want to. If we can ever do anything for you, you call any of us. We want your student here at school so they can learn, because the best place for a child 180 days a year is in a classroom with that teacher, learning and being loved. So thanks for being with us. All right, Dr. Tinker, we're here at Maggie Brown talking a little bit about attendance. What have you seen in your role as principal here related to student attendance and the importance of it?
Well, again, student attendance is the most pivotal thing that we do in education, because again, if the students are not here, then we can't do our job. It's as simple as that right there. So it's important that we do things for students to make this the most positive environment so that they want to come to school and that they also want to learn.
Yeah, and I should have said, you were former principal at Maggie Brown Alternative Program, now Director of Student Services for the school district. Talk to everybody a little bit about what Maggie Brown is and what you do here.
Well, Maggie Brown is a school that is designed to help young people get back on the right track. It is ultra important that we empower them through restorative practice, where they can learn and grow from the barriers that have been placed in front of them. So moving forward, that they have the right tools in their toolbox to be successful in the future.
Awesome. And kids' mistakes don't define them. We're in the business here at Maggie Brown about rehabilitating kids, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. So again, we are all human. We make mistakes every single day as adults, as young people. So we got to be able to look past the mistakes that young people make, and again, teach them, because at some point in our life, someone taught us and gave us a second opportunity.
That's right. Now let's go back to attendance a little bit. That's our primary topic for today. Talk a minute about some of the issues that you've seen kids get into related to attendance.
Right. Well, it just depends on a lot of times some home life environment things, and also some things that may be in their community that they may not want to come to school for some reason or not. But I think it's important for us as a school system that we make school engaging through goal set and make it a place where they can't stay away from. Right. So we have to do that by engaging them and showing them what is it going to look like in 10 to 15 years or even 30 years, that if you come to school and you gain education, that again, that's the one thing that can never be taken away from you in life, is gaining that critical education. So it's ultra important that a school system and school and also staff that again, we make education engaging for them.
And you said goal setting, you mentioned it. Talk a little bit about the importance of that, especially with middle school kids.
Right. So again, all kids, all people, goals are what drive you to be successful. So you have to take it step by step, build a foundation, and make sure that we are, again, creating goals that are, first of all, are attainable. We cannot create unrealistic goals for them, and we cannot allow them to do that. Yeah, can we dream? Sure, we can dream, but at the same time, we have to make sure that they have goals so they want to be here. And as facilitators, instructors, advocates for our young people, we have to keep pushing them regardless where some go wrong, some go right. We have to be their biggest cheerleaders in life for them to be successful.
And you mentioned advocacy for kids, and one of the things that I've heard you talk a lot about is making sure parents know we want your kid here at school.
Right. And that goes back to the old relationship. You build a relationship with them, you build it, they will come. So again, you have to do the best you can do working with the kids, the parents, the community, because remember now, everybody's gonna send their best to school, and we have to always remember that the parents are sending their best product to school. And again, sometimes they need help. So we wanna advocate again for the student and the parent, and we have to educate all our stakeholders so they can be, so ultimately we can create a successful, productive citizen in society.
And just because attendance may have been an issue in the past doesn't mean it has to be in the future, right?
Right, because again, here it goes. It's not how you start, it's always how you finish. So we have to do what's best for these young people by doing the little thing, taking care of the little thing, because again, that's what society has gotten away from, is just saying, hey, something went wrong, then it's over. No, it's never over with. Success is not dictated by one action, which a lot of times is attendance. We got to teach them.
Yeah. And I know you've heard me say this before, and we only get 180 chances a year, 180-day school year. That's all we get. They're precious, aren't they?
They are super, super precious. So how can we get the most out of, again, our parents and our students? Those are our customers. How can we get our customers to keep coming back daily? What do we sell to them for 180 days? And it's our job as an educational system to make sure that we're getting them here as much as we can. So we got to do a great job of selling our product.
That's it. Well, thanks for what you've done as a principal here at Maggie Brown. I look forward to seeing the great work you're going to do as Director of Student Services for the school district. And ladies and gentlemen, Armand Tinker, new Director of Student Services for the school district. If you need him, reach out to him. I hope you can tell he's going to be a strong advocate for our kids. And we want your kid here every day, because if they're with us, they can learn. We'll be back. If there's any one message to take away, it's that success in school and in life builds on itself one day at a time. Student attendance is important because we want our students to succeed. And parents, if you have concerns, don't hesitate to reach out to any of the people we spoke with today or your child's teacher or principal to find ways to help students succeed. Thanks to the folks who took time to meet with us today, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you soon.